No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today we are having a conversation with Miranda, aka you're a shovel girl, right? Not the girl who threw the shovel girl didn't get the honor of becoming shovel girl.
No, at the time the internet was different. You know what I mean? So like everybody on the internet was really mad at her for throwing a shovel. They were like, "You need to fight fair." Like, you know what I mean? She actually had to leave school. I think she got a lot of death threats and stuff like that. She had to quit school and like do homeschooling for a while, actually.
Okay.
So, for some reason, I got really popular on the internet for that.
Okay, but let's go right from the beginning. So you're from where exactly?
I'm from Ohio.
Okay. And small town in Ohio, I'm assuming?
Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
It's kind of small. It's the next to Cincinnati. It's a little bit smaller than Cincinnati, Ohio. So it's more like the bigger side.
Okay. And I guess like the average person who has seen the clip looks at that and thinks, oh, that's some white trash shit.
Oh, yeah.
Would you describe your upbringing as that?
Yes.
Okay.
White trash. I would say yes. It wasn't like everybody's like, okay, this is some trailer park, like country Ohio white trash shit. It wasn't exactly what they thought it was. I was definitely not like born in a trailer park. I happened to be in her city. So the city that I happened in was Bethel, Ohio, which is more country.
Okay.
I was just in that city at the time. I didn't live in a trailer. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with my great grandma. So
okay. But pretty white trash overall. A lot of bullshit going on. Okay.
Yeah. My dad was in prison. My mom was in prison. You know what I mean? Like
what'd
a lot
your dad
of drug
go in
use.
for?
He was in for a lot of things: drug use, robbery. I think the last thing he was in for was robbery. He hung himself when I was 10. So.
Oh shit! Rest in peace. Damn. What was your mom in for?
Prostitution and drug abuse.
Wow. So you grew up around a lot of wild shit. Like, are your earliest memories a lot of this kind of stuff going on all around you?
Yes, for sure. My earliest memory is when I was 3. My mom went to prison. That affected me really heavily. I moved in with my grandparents, my great grandma, and. My Nana at the time. I went back and forth. I was also in the system a lot. I've done 3.5 years of my life in juvenile jail. So
wow.
I think I just you know, like the twins study. I study psychology in school as well. So people can take it 2 ways. Some people see their parents doing stuff like that and they're like, I would never do that in my life. And then like for me, I grew up with my parents doing stuff like that and I was like, this is so cool. Like I want to be like that. And it was stupid at the time. But
really? So you never really gravitated towards the idea of not wanting to be involved with that stuff? You always kind of took it as like, oh, drugs and crime. This is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, for sure. Like just like the people I was around and who I decided to put myself around, my friends, my family, my influences. At the time, I was like, this is like where I want to be at in life.
This is just life.
This is it. You know what I mean?
I mean, trust me, I interview gang members all the time where it's very obvious to me that that's it. Like they see their dad get shot, get in a wheelchair, go to prison, all this bullshit, and doesn't really stop them from wanting to see for themselves what that life is like. Okay, but so that video happened when you were what age?
14.
14.
And I was like, there's some conspiracy on the internet because I lied about my age at the time. And I said I was 18. I wanted to go on a lot of like radio interviews and stuff that they said I needed my parent permission for.
Right.
But I was in half custody of the state. So it was hard to get my state permission because I was like on like children parole at the time. It was called drug court in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
But so it was having a hard time and then I was lying to my boyfriend at the time. My boyfriend was older than me and I was telling him that I was 18. So.
Oh shit. How old was he?
He was like 19 or 20.
And you were actually 14. You were lying by 4 years.
And my great grandma was lying with me. R.I.P. my great grandma.
She
was a savage.
Do you think you genuinely looked 18 or was he just an idiot?
Yeah, I did. I got my first tattoo at 12 and a half, almost 13.
Wow.
I was just doing crazy things like wearing extensions, going out.
And were you not in school?
No, I had dropped out of school pretty much. The reason why I was on drug court was because I had gotten on house arrest for not showing up to school and like having tattoos and stuff, which they called CPS, which is why I was in protective custody. And then I didn't want to, I was always running away. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to do my own thing, I guess.
You want to do hood rat shit with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that day, let's break this down because, okay, was there pre-existing animosity or how did this actual disagreement with the other girl start to brew?
Okay, so this is what happened. I decided to hang out with this guy from my school, which at the time I was really young. Even though I hung out with older people and was doing hood rat stuff, I liked to like smoke weed and hang out with people from my school too. I was going to like a middle school at the time. And there was this guy there named Bug. But his real name was like Derek, and we like, he was like, let's meet at the park, let's smoke some weed, whatever. I was like, okay, let's meet at the park. So we met at the park across the street from my house, regular kid stuff. You know, I was 14 at the time. So we met, we were smoking, and he was like, you should call my girlfriend and tell her that you're my girlfriend now. And I was like, okay. Right? I was like, okay. When I was a kid, I just loved confrontation. I really don't know why. I really don't know. I was an angry kid. I was mad. You know, I watched my dad die. I was like in a bunch of stuff, and I just like confrontation.
But when
So I
you
was
say
like,
that, it just like makes me think about high school and how like anyone could kind of suggest like a pretty bad idea to me, and I might just be like, yeah, all right, that sounds, yeah, let's do that. Right, why not?
Right, exactly. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I FaceTimed her, and I was like, this is my boyfriend now. I didn't expect her to take it so hard, but she was like super upset about it. She started crying on the phone. And as a kid, I was not a girl's girl. Like, I was like, I kind of like fed off the energy a little bit. You know, I was in a bad headspace, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like egged her on. Like, as she was crying, I was like, well, it doesn't even matter. Like, obviously, like, whatever. Like,
but I always point that out, how girls now, that's like the ultimate insult, is like, you're not a girl's girl.
it is.
You
and
turn your back on your own fucking gender. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm like such a girl's girl through and through, and I feel so bad. Like, I still feel bad. People comment on my Instagram, and they're like, you deserved it. And I'm like, I agree.
Okay, so she takes it to heart when you tell her that this is your new boyfriend, but you weren't even hooking up with this guy? This was just a troll?
So listen, this is what's funny. We went to go hook up. I was young. I was promiscuous at the time, okay?
Okay.
We went to go hook up, and he like cried. I guess he was a virgin. He like cried.
He
like,
cried?
Yes, he cried. He like wasn't ready. You know what I mean? He's like, don't touch me, Katie. I'm not ready, okay? Like, he wasn't ready. So.
And he's 19.
No, he was my age.
Your boyfriend was 19.
Yeah, my boyfriend was 19.
Got it.
But
okay.
yeah, okay, so that's bad, right? I had a boyfriend also at the time. So again, I wasn't the best kid, right? So
Right.
it's okay. I've definitely changed and grown a lot. So
Okay.
I'm able to like look back and be like, Jesus,
But
you know?
oh, wow, there's so many pieces to this. Okay.
So many pieces to the puzzle. So that happened. She stalked me online for a while. You know what I mean? She was like, I like blocked her because I was like tired of the drama. I was in drama with a lot of girls. My brother was kind of person like, if you talk shit, you have to fight. Like, he always made me like go to these people's houses, like fight them. If I didn't fight him, he would fight me type stuff. Like, it was crazy.
He would fight you?
Yes, my brother was crazy. Shout
Like, how
out
bad?
Caleb.
He'd really beat the shit out of you?
No, yeah, he's crazy. He's still crazy right now. We do not talk anymore. Like, he's still living a really rough lifestyle. But yeah, he was crazy. But I remember my first fight I was ever in, I was like 12 or 13, and he made me fight his 18-year-old girlfriend.
What?
And she, like they were like broken up at the time, but then they were back together. And so he came to the fight and like rooted for her. Was like on her side. But
wow, that's hilarious. But okay, so how does that girl react to you telling her that you're now dating her boyfriend? She takes to social media?
Yeah, she takes it to heart, takes it to social media. I didn't care much about it at the time. I was drinking a lot, using a lot, so I really didn't care. I was like, whatever. And then I was hanging out with my friend Haley Roush. Me and this girl, we were around the same age, but we would party a lot and go to like different cities and like go to parties, and we would drive around. We would do crazy stuff together a lot. And I guess she lived in the same city as her. I never knew where this girl really lived, but me and Haley had went to a carnival together. We had saw this girl. I guess she was friends with her, and we were like at the carnival, and she didn't want to hang out with us because I was there. She still had beef. I really did not have beef with this girl anymore. I did not care about the situation. Like, I was like, whatever. And then the next day I was at Haley's house, and this girl called, and she was like talking crap. I started talking crap, and she was like, I live right down the road. And I was like, let's meet at the park. Like, let's fight about it. Because that's what I was used to. You know what I mean? Like, let's just fight it out and then be friends or make up afterwards. Whatever we have to do. You know what I mean? And she was like, I can't leave my house. I have all these animals. So I walked to her house. Like through like 4 cornfields.
Wow. 4 cornfields. So you walk to her house and she's waiting outside, or you have to ring the doorbell?
No, I feel like my friend Haley knocked on the door.
Okay.
And she's like, which I cannot find the full video online anymore. My friend Josh Officer took it. He put it on YouTube. He ended up moving down to this state. I haven't really, the last time I saw him was when he recorded that video.
So at one point there was a longer video, but it seems like it might have just been lost to time.
Yeah, there was a video, like you saw her knock on the door. She came out with her puppies. She showed Haley her puppies. We saw chickens together. Like, I could tell, like, she didn't really want to fight. You know what I mean? Okay. And if you watch the whole video, I asked her, like, people are so mad at me, like, you went to this girl's house to fight and you bullied her. I asked her multiple times, I was like, do you want to stop fighting? Like, we can be friends. Let's just be cool. Like, let's stop fighting right here. And then she, like, was always like, no, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And then by the end, I was so mad. I was pretty, like, drunk and high. as well at that time. So that's why the doctor said I didn't get knocked out.
Okay.
Because I was just so drunk and high. Like,
but so how does the fight actually pop off? Like you guys had like a physical fight for a little bit before the shovel actually gets thrown?
Yeah, we did.
How long would you say that actually lasted?
A while, like a couple, I would say like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
We like set ground rules. We put our hair up. I mean, we were talking for a while. We stopped. She was like crying. She was trying to put her hair back up.
Did it kind of feel like she didn't want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Compared to what I was used to in fighting, because like I said, I grew up with my brother wanting me to fight all the time. I grew up in Dayton, which was a lot different than Bethel. Bethel was a lot more country. Like I was used to like going and fighting at the park or whatever. Me and my friend Danielle were fighting at the time just to like fight and have fun and then shake hands and be friends afterwards. Like, so it was definitely different than what I was used to. Like,
because I have memories of high school of like many times like on the walk home from school, and there was like girls who were supposed to fight, and then they just ended up doing a bunch of peacocking and bullshit and just talking, and like very quickly it became clear to me like, oh, they don't really want to fight. They don't really plan on fighting. Like, granted, like a lot of boys would do the same thing, but then it felt like the boys usually would fight. Like it would just come down to it. But with girls, it's like, I feel like it's so unnatural and like just not typically how most girls operate, you know, especially at a young age.
I was healthily scared to fight, of course. I was 14. I try to explain that to people. They're like, you don't know how to fight. Like, I was 14.
But it had been normalized to you, so it just wasn't as intimidating. You were kind of ready to do it,
especially
right?
after going to, like, jail and treatments as much as I did. Like, I have been jumped. I've been jumped in my sleep. I've been, you know what I mean? I've been in so many fights that at the point, I didn't really care.
Wait, you've been jumped in your sleep before all this took place?
No, it was after, actually, but
where did you get jumped in? Now I just want to hear this side story. Where'd that happen?
The Buckeye Ranch. It's like a treatment facility for kids in Columbus, Ohio.
And you went there after this incident?
Right after the incident. 3 days. Like, I went to jail, and then I went to a lockdown facility for over a year, like a year and a couple days.
Why did they jump you?
They didn't like me.
Just a bunch of random girls didn't like you?
They didn't like me. They just, you know, the girls are either jealous or they don't like you for whatever reason. And then they'll just jump you just because.
Wow, that's terrible. Getting jumped in your sleep sounds like the worst thing ever.
It is, especially if you already have a severe concussion because you just got hit in the head with a shovel. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, you couldn't have picked another time.
Right.
I'm just already down bad, you know?
Okay, so you guys are fighting for 5-10 minutes, and how is the fight going up until right before the shovel thing happens?
So I feel like the fight is going okay. Like I said, I was a little drunk and high at the time. I also really didn't want to fight. I could tell she didn't want to fight. She was like, quit hitting me in my face, bitch. And I was like, that's the point. It's a fight. Like, I was like confused. You know what I mean? I was like, she doesn't want me to hit her in her face, but this is a fight. I don't know if she wants me to stand here and let her hit me. I'm not really sure.
Making up rules.
Yeah, like I'm not really sure what's going on at the time. And like by the end of it, I was so upset. I like went and ran towards her house. And I've watched the video multiple times. I find it hilarious. It was like slow motion, ran towards her house in my like Walmart leggings, Walmart t-shirt, hair up, you know what I mean?
Okay.
No makeup, just, and then she grabs the shovel and I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm out. You know what I mean? Okay. Slow motion went to go run away.
And you hadn't even noticed the existence of the shovel up until this moment?
Up until she grabbed it.
Because normally a shovel is pretty like whatever.
Yeah, it's just like in the garden, whatever, just a shovel. And up until this moment, and then I went to go run away and she just threw it perfectly, like an Olympic star. You know what I'm saying? She like really, she got the perfect throw. The doctor said like if it would have been turned like a centimeter either way, it would have cut into my head.
Like Trump getting shot in the ear.
Like it would have cut into my head. I could have died for sure. Right. Especially my head bouncing off the concrete.
Yeah, because it's like if the blade of the shovel kind of hits you more directly, it might have just sliced your shit open and gave you a crazy concussion. But instead, it kind of hit flat on the head, so it gave you a concussion, right? But it didn't like cut you open. It broke
bones behind my eardrum.
Oh wow!
So I broke bones behind my eardrum, and then it gave me a severe concussion. I was bleeding in the inside of my ear. I was like bleeding down my face. I didn't go to the hospital till the next day.
Really?
Yeah.
Just weren't used to going to the hospital from serious head trauma.
I wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? I was like, this is insane. I just got hit in the head with a shovel. Everybody in the city is going to make fun of me. I need to like, I really didn't think it was going to blow up, like get really big or World Star was going to get a hold of it.
What happens right after you get hit with the shovel? Do you fall down on the ground and you're like clutching your shit or the fight was over right then? Nobody hit each other more after that?
No. I like was pretty much clutching my pearls. I was like, I was like crying. I was like, I can't hear. You know what I mean? But then I like walked through like 4 cornfields again. The video lasted so much longer. Like if you look at the Tosh.0 clip, which I'm sure you can find somewhere. I'll have to GPT. But he shows like the end where I'm like, I walked away and I was laying on the ground and I was like, oh man, like at least I beat her ass though. She didn't get 1 hit on me. And then Tosh.0 was like, maybe 1.
Yeah.
And like I did a bunch more after that, but my friend Josh, he was like, I was like, I'm bleeding from my ear, from the inside of my ear, and he was like, don't worry, girl, I got a first aid kit at my house.
And so she let you walk away.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, I think she was just scared. Honestly,
Right.
I don't blame her. Like a lot of people are like, you can't like she was my age as well. You know what I mean? She was scared. We were all scared. Like she threatened a BB gun at first. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
She was just
could have got a different way. You could have lost an eye.
Oh shit. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the BB gun's pretty
That's
serious.
kind of cool.
But okay, so who was filming?
My friend Josh Officer.
Okay, and did it occur to you at any point that maybe you should tell him, hey, don't put that video out? Because it wasn't live, right?
No, I thought it was hilarious, right?
Oh.
Because a lot of people were like they hate on me online, and you gotta remember I've been hated on online since I was like 2014. You know what I mean? But I thought it was funny. I really did. I had grown up around stuff like that. I was like, this is kind of funny. I knew people in the city would make fun of me for it, and that's what I expected. Like people in Dayton, maybe a nickname, like they weren't gonna forget it. It was gonna be hilarious, but I didn't expect like.
So it starts going around on like Facebook, I'm assuming?
It went around everywhere. Oh my god, I got so big. Vine. Do you remember Vine?
Oh yeah.
I got so big on Vine at the time.
Really?
Like Vine's backgrounds were shovels. If you remember, do you remember that movie Holes?
No.
It's like a Disney movie, but it had
Okay.
Shia LaBeouf in it. And Shia LaBeouf made this edit with the movie Holes about shovels, and like Snoop Dogg had shared it, and then like it went. I wasn't expecting it when it first. Just those 3 days before I went to jail, like there was people like stopping me on the street, taking pictures with me. I was like getting offers from like WWE, Tosh.0.
What?
I was like, I was like, my whole entire life changed within. Which the internet's not the same now. Like it's like a lot harder to go viral. But back in 2014, overnight, like everybody knew who I was.
Yeah.
Literally everybody. I was like, this is insane.
I mean, in that era, it was very much like I remember having a observation in like maybe 2012, 2013 of being like, there's a new viral thing every week.
Yeah.
And before that, it felt like you were maybe seeing like a new viral thing like every month. Now there's like a bunch of viral shit per day.
Per day.
And there's like a bunch of shit that'll have 100,000 likes and 10 million plays on Twitter, and nobody gives a shit. Like it's a thing, but like nobody really cares. Nobody's like sending it to their mom, like, check this out. But like the shovel thing was very much like the monoculture of the internet. Every single person saw it. It kind of reminds me of like the Hawk Tuah thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like modern version of that, obviously for a different reason.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's been like, oh, I don't remember that, and maybe like, let me show you. And then they've seen it and they've been like, oh no, I remember that video.
Even in the lead up to this, I had a bunch of people be like, shovel, what is shovel girl? I'm like, you don't remember there was a video of a girl got hit in the head with a shovel? And they're like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody kind of has that in the back of their memory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? I think about that a lot. You know what I mean? Like even when I die and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of people, at least for a little while, you know what I mean, will remember like,
right,
this girl got hit with a shovel. Family Guy talked about it.
Really?
That was pretty insane.
But wait, so it comes out on your local Facebook or whatever, and is it like by the end of the day it's already on like every other platform?
Yeah, it was on his YouTube, and I think by the next day it had over 1 million views.
Oh wow.
Like it was insane. I know I had ChatGPT'd it a while ago. I love ChatGPT. Shout out ChatGPT.
Some of the audience might hold that against me that I'm kind of ChatGPTing things constantly on here now.
I just want to know, you know?
Yeah.
Like just in comparison to how many like platforms it's been on, how like what it could have reached, and it was like anywhere from like 100 to 400 million people.
Wow.
Which is insane. I get a lot of messages from people out of country, like everywhere, that are like, oh, I remember this, like,
yeah,
da-da-da.
and they still message you. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my god, I've had people that, which is crazy to me because I know it was like just like a meme. So, but I've had people that have messaged me since 2014 and still message me to this day.
Wow,
like,
and they still just tap in.
Yeah, just to see.
Because what, you still have the same Instagram from back then?
No, I've switched Instagrams a lot. They just, I don't know.
They find you, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. But okay, so you go home, you go to sleep. The video comes out, but at what point you decided like maybe I need to actually go to the hospital?
It wasn't until the next day. My great grandma was worried because again I was on probation and stuff like that, and she didn't want to get in trouble with CPS. I had gotten her in trouble a lot with CPS when it comes to like getting tattoos and stuff like that. Even though she was okay with it, she just she didn't like to have to explain herself, I guess, in court.
Okay.
So she just like thought that we should check all of our bases and go to the hospital. I went to the hospital the next day. 2 days after that, I went to the doctors, like the ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor, to get like a head scan and make sure I was okay, which is when I found out that my bones were like broken in the back of my head, but they had to heal on their own. I left the building and there was like 5 officers and my probation officer, and they all arrested me and took me to court.
And what was the reason they were telling you for you being arrested?
Probation violation and assault.
Okay.
Because I was on her property, and in the video, I'm pretty sure I hit her first.
Oh, okay. So they'd seen enough of it that they considered you to have kind of started it.
Yeah, my judge was super like excited and mad at the same time. I had a big, thick court file. You know what I mean? Like I had just done so many things wrong. Okay, and he like slammed it. He always does. He like slammed it down on the table. He was like, "Miranda Fugate, you think you're viral? You think you're famous now, huh?" I was like, "Oh no, oh no."
And so, okay, then they just lock you up in the local county jail?
And they put me in protective services and all that kind of stuff, like for longer, and said that I could not be on social media until I graduated drug court. Okay. Which was not until I was almost 18 years old. I was 17 and a half. Like I think it was like 3 months shy of being 18.
But I think you were 14 during the fight, and then they locked you up for how long?
A year.
A year.
Over a year, yeah.
Just fresh off that situation, you don't get any freedom.
Because I had time off on the shelf and stuff like that. Other probation violations, they locked me up for a really long time. What happens is with drug court is your parents, like your guardian technically at the time, has to like sign permission for you to go in, and they take like extra control pretty much of your life.
Wow.
So it's something that's supposed to be for like kids that are going down a like severely wrong path. You know what I mean? To try to gear them.
And so you're like aware that this is super viral, but then you get locked up and now you can't really like see any of it or engage with it, right?
They wouldn't let me go near a window because there was news stations sitting outside trying to get a glimpse of me in the window. They had people coming in that were doing like classes for the students that wanted to do interviews with me for like different stuff, and they wouldn't let them do that. They wouldn't let me. My family could not come see me. I did not see my family until 6 months into the system because they wouldn't let my family come see me. They took complete custody control.
So they were just paranoid that you were going to benefit from this.
Yes, 100%, 100%. They took away my social media rights. They took everything away. Anytime I would make social media accounts, obviously when I got out after a year, I was like 15 and a half. I would make social media accounts. I would make Facebooks. I would go to court. My judge would have screenshots of my Facebooks and be like, "You're going to jail." I no matter what I did, it didn't matter. Like I wasn't allowed to create content or do anything after that.
Wow. So, okay, you're locked up for like a year, and then what? They let you out and...
They let me out. They let me back with my family. I'm still in like protective services. I didn't go back to my great grandma because they took custody from her because of everything that happened. And so I had to go with my Nana at the time. And I was just like on probation. No, I wasn't on house arrest when I first got out. I was just on probation, super heavily guarded. I always dropped like 3 times a week, went to court once a week. It was hell. Right. Really.
And so you can't really do anything on the internet, even though you kind of know that this stuff is out there.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't do any. I'm not allowed. Like if I do something or make a video, I would go back to jail. So what's the point? Because then it's just going to go viral and then I go back to jail and it doesn't matter again.
And even after you got out after that year, did it still feel like people were tapping in and people still wanted to do content with you, or did it kind of wear off by then?
I think I could have if I tried, you know what I mean? But I didn't try, and I think it's like everything wears off, especially something like World Star and something like that. And just people forget after a while. Not like they don't remember, but it's just not as.
No, people don't like normal people don't really get that. Then when something's super viral, it's like you can usually guarantee that like motherfuckers are gonna move on. Although here we are, 11 years later or whatever. Wait, is that right? Was it
11 years?
2014, right? Yeah. Okay. So all right, then. Meanwhile. It's kind of crazy, but the girl who actually threw the shovel didn't get locked up?
No, she didn't. She got community service. So this was in Miami County. If you are on like drug court, parole, or probation in Ohio, you automatically get taken to the county, or the like charges get transferred to the county that you are on probation in. I was on probation in Montgomery County, which is like Dayton downtown. So she got to go to Miami County, and they took lenience on the fact that she was getting death threats and stuff. And she was so young and she had no charges. My city was not taking lenience on the fact that I had so many charges for so many years. And I swung first.
Right. So, but then she ended up basically, like, honestly, it almost seems fucked up. If she really got hit first, like, how can they really say that there's anything wrong with her throwing a shovel at somebody on her property?
Right. I mean, right. The state picked up charges. My family did not press charges on her.
Okay.
They kind of laughed at the video. They were not.
Right. Because looking back on it, does it feel like shit? We should have sued. Although I don't know what you would have really sued, considering it's some broke ass person, right?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't know if she's broke. I mean, her family had like some land and some chickens, so maybe not. I don't really know.
Are we gonna sue her for a chicken? Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. Free eggs though. Eggs are getting expensive. I don't know.
That is a good point. It might have been a wise investment. Yeah.
Right.
But okay, because she ends up doing like Dr. Phil and shit, like right away, or does it take a while for her to do that?
I don't really know. 'Cause I was in jail. You know what I mean? And I was kind of like focused on my own trauma and my own head things going on, but I found out she went on Dr. Phil after I got out, and I was like kind of pissed about it. I know Dr. Phil wanted me on,
right,
but obviously I couldn't go on
because honestly, like no shade at this girl or whatever, but I watched her Dr. Phil appearance earlier and it's so dry. She had like nothing to say. Like Dr. Phil was dragging it out of her and she had nothing going on.
She lied a lot. She said we went to the same school. We did not go to the same school. I never bullied her. Like I said, my dad committed suicide when I was 10. I watched him die. She said she tried to use the excuse that I told her to kill herself, which a lot of people on TikTok have taken her side from. I never told her to kill herself. I would never say that to anybody. My dad killed himself, so.
Wait, you watched him die?
Yeah, he hung himself in a suicide hospital. And then they had him on like this life support machine in the hospital, but his brainstem had disconnected.
Wait, so he hung himself in the hospital?
In the suicide hospital. He tried to jump off a bridge and the cops talked him down, and he was in a suicide hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then he hung himself with the sheets.
In the hospital?
Yeah, and they let him hang for 3 We sued them. We did sue them. They got some money from that. I got some money from that as well.
But what, because they just weren't keeping a close enough eye on him?
They let him hang for 30 minutes.
30?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
His brainstem was disconnected. The only thing keeping him alive was this machine. His pupils wouldn't dilate or anything. And he was a big sports guy. He liked to draw, stuff like that. Even though he'd been to prison, he was really talented. We knew he wouldn't want to live as a vegetable or just on a machine, so we did pull the plug. My Nana fought for me to be in the room, so I was there when it happened.
Oh, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. That's terrible.
No, that's okay. I went to therapy.
Right. Okay. But so after that year, because you ended up doing like 3 years in jail, right? Or was
altogether, yeah, I've done 3 years. Anytime I dropped dirty for like weed or anything, it was 10 days, 30 days.
Okay.
Anytime I got in trouble, I would run away for like 6 months, come home. That's like 30 days, 6 months.
So after that 1 year, you basically do what? Like, because you're still 15, 16 at this point, right?
I go back to doing hoodlum stuff. You know what I mean? I don't really think about the fame or like this stuff on the internet because I know I can't get on it. I just like continue just like, I think I was just upset and angry, you know?
Yeah. And are you still kind of like a superstar locally? Like everybody knows about this because nobody is viral or has some crazy amount of internet attention?
So. I think Ohio is
people just moved on?
Yeah, people like, you know, people just go on with their lives. Same way I do, same way you do, you know? People are just like, okay, on to the next. I mean, for some people, you know? Like a lot of people in my city know who I am and I have a lot of friends there, but
especially like that kind of clip. It's like the kind of thing that is like irresistible. Everybody has to pay attention to it for like 5 minutes. And then at some point they just move on and then everybody just kind of forgets. Yeah. Cause like, I mean, my first viral thing was when I was in 2014, basically the exact same time as you. A couple of my friends that rode for my bike shop bunny hopped over a bunch of homeless people and they made an Instagram video of them just hopping their bikes over bums.
Nice.
So viral. It was on like every news station. It was everywhere. I felt like this was never going to end. And then like a week later, they just stopped talking about it and it was just done.
Right. That's how it usually goes. Yeah. Right. This was crazy. It went so viral. I was honestly surprised at how viral it went. And then I remember I had gotten out of treatment and I was like in my Nana's like spare bedroom on the couch, like eating cereal, probably going on a bench. Who knows what I was doing at the time, you know what I mean? But my cousin called me and he was like, you were just mentioned on Family Guy, this shit is crazy. I was like, what are you talking about? So I went and looked it up and I was like, this is crazy. And that happens to me every so often, you know what I mean? They mentioned me on the Two Bears podcast
really?
A couple years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. And I had gotten a bunch of Instagram messages like, they just messaged you on this podcast, like, right. This happens every so often.
So it kind of felt like life just went back to normal after all this, or what was your life story after this? Because like you stayed in school, you graduate?
I did not graduate. I got my GED. Okay. I just did a bunch of crazy stuff after this. I feel like life got crazy after this. Like my life was like never stopped. You know what I mean? After my dad died and stuff like that, after my mom was doing all that kind of stuff, I went and just started doing crazy stuff, doing drugs, being around crazy people. I'm sure if there was cameras rolling at the time we were hanging out, a bunch of stuff would have went viral. They were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. My life went downhill for a long time. I didn't get like sober and change until I was about 20 or 21.
Okay. How old are you now?
25.
25 now.
Now
okay.
I have a college degree and I go to college. And I was forklift certified. I worked at factories for a while. I've done a bunch of stuff, but for a long time I was just messing up.
Right. Okay. So what you basically just keep partying after that, and you're kind of living this destructive lifestyle. At what point do you actually decide that you want to change your life? And was there anything that prompted that?
Well, I was using at the time and I was drinking really heavily and I was with an abusive partner and stuff like that. And I was just like at like rock bottom. I had been homeless. I was sleeping on the streets. I don't know. I was just doing a bunch of crazy stuff and I had decided that enough was enough. I always told myself when I was on the streets, I was going to get clean and go to college before I was 21. And I think I kind of spoke it into existence because I got clean at 20 and went to college at about 21 and got my associate's degree. And just like never really looked back. I don't really have a desire to go back or do that stuff anymore.
You feel like you got it all out of your system, or do you still? Yeah. So you don't party at all anymore? You're totally sober?
No, I do. It's hard, obviously, after living such a chaotic lifestyle for such a long time.
You're still young. I'm sure like most of the people your age you are around are still partying to some extent, right?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of friends, honestly, because I've learned to just lead you into bad situations. But yeah, I still do. It was hard going from such a chaotic lifestyle, always on the move, always doing something crazy, to then being in peace and trying to do college and like just doing nothing. I think I kind of got what they call like what's California sober? Just smoking weed?
That is what they say, yes, yeah.
Okay, well, no. I smoke weed and I drink.
Okay.
So.
I feel like out here, it's like if you, drink a reasonable amount, they'll probably give you credit for that. I do know a ton of people who like quit smoking crack or they were like, taking 10 perks a day and all that shit. And then at some point they just kind of went into like, they drink and they like fully get drunk, but they like left behind the drugs. And to them, that feels like, okay, I'm better now.
It is, yeah. I used to drink a lot when I was a kid. I had thrown up on a cop at 12.
Wow.
So that's before Shovel Girl. I had gotten dude, you don't understand. I'd gotten so drunk. When you're a kid, you just don't understand that when you drink and drink and drink and drink, you're going to get so, like, you don't understand what alcohol poisoning is. You're just like, I can just drink as much as I want to.
Because even people who are 30 or 40, like, still get way too drunk without trying to. But when you're 15, drinking for the first time, I mean, you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
It looks like water. Like, I got a big ass cup of vodka.
Like, it tastes bad, but what could it really do to me? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I went to it was like New Year's around the time, and I was hanging out with people way too older for me. I was 12, they were like 20s, 21, 24, and I was drinking. It was in this town called Centerville, which is actually a nice part of Ohio. It was like the suburbs, for real. And we were drinking like this half-gallon bottle of Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, and I just like was like drinking it. I drank it to go to the New Year's, and I was so drunk. Like, we had like a bunch of people piled in this S10, and when we got pulled over, I was like drooling on myself. I was like trying to hide behind somebody's arm. I was so wasted at like 12. The cop immediately pulled me. I was like, I'm cool. I'm hiding. They can't see me. The cop was like, who is she? Can you please step out of the car? I was like, oh no.
So he could just tell that you were young as fuck.
Yeah, he could tell I don't know. I don't really know what it was, but he was like, he could definitely tell that I was up, like way too up.
Yeah, drunk 12-year-old with a bunch of grown kids or whatever. That's pretty scary.
So he was like, how many drinks have you had? And I was like, none. I haven't had anything to drink. Threw up on him, threw up on his pants, on his shoes. He put me in the back of his car. He did a breathalyzer. He said he has to call the ambulance. I heard him go back to that truck and he was like, do you know how old she is? She's only like, you can't have her in your car. Why is she this wasted? Like, he ended up letting those guys go though. Yeah. And took me in the ambulance to the hospital. He said the only reason he didn't take me to jail was because I had to go to the hospital and stay there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, are you committing a crime if you have a drunk ass 12-year-old in your car? Like, I don't know.
It's Ohio.
Like, what are they going to charge you with exactly? I don't know.
Well, probation violation, because I was still
for you, for sure, yeah. I'm just thinking the other person who happens to have you in the car. Like, I don't know what the cop would charge him with.
I don't know. I know that the guy was like, oh, we didn't know that she was. Well, I'm sure I did lie about my age, but not on that guy's side. He hit me up after that and still wanted to hang out and definitely knew how old I was. You know what I mean? Definitely new. Like,
holy shit. Okay, so what is it like having, because like anything that goes viral, it basically like goes viral over and over and over again. Like I'm sure that like every year, many times over, people repost the video of the shovel on TikTok and Twitter and Reddit, etc. Like, what is that like for it to just keep popping up over and over for people who haven't seen it already?
I think it's funny. I think it's cool. I've seen like car commercials. They'll do like, which is kind of where I got the idea from with the video that I made recently. But it's like me getting hit up with a shovel, and then they pop up and they're like, "Come check out great deals at this car center." Da 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 da. And like everybody in my city always tags me in the comments. They're like, "People are still talking about this." I'm like, I think it's funny. I think it's cool.
Right.
It feels like, I mean, you're always like, why would you want to be remembered for that? Just let it go, like move on, do something else with your life. But I don't really mind.
I mean, most people aren't remembered for anything. So it's like, if you have something that was this moment where everybody was paying attention, it feels like kind of worth hanging on to a certain extent. Wait, so you weren't, because there was a restriction where you weren't allowed to do anything on social media until you were 18, or?
Yeah, I graduated drug court when I was 17 and a half, which would be when I would be allowed to be on social media. But at the time, I was like, well, why'd you wait so long then? Because, you know, I'm 25 now. At the time, I knew, like, if I did get on social media, I would be what everybody said I was, which is just white trash. Because that's what I was at the time. I was just partying. I was doing drugs. I wasn't doing anything productive with my life. I was hanging out with my friends who were just trash. We were all just, you know, chilling, I guess.
So you didn't really want to like, did you not see it as something where you could benefit from it?
I knew I could, and I knew me and my friends would definitely go viral off the stuff that we said. I just knew it wouldn't be good. You know what I mean? Like, even at the time when I was a kid, like talking to people that I did in treatment facilities, talking to the therapist that I did, I knew that if I got out and I was still doing drugs and I came out, even though it would probably get popular and it would go famous, it would be exactly what everybody on the internet already thought. You know what I mean? And I didn't want that. If I did come back out on the internet, I wanted to just be like a better mindset.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because I feel like the old school mentality is like, I've gone viral by accident and I'm pissed because now I have all these people shitting on me. Whereas like a lot of the people that I see being real successful now are like OnlyFans girls who basically like turn themselves into a laughing stock. Like when I think of the girls who are out here banging 100 dudes in a day or whatever, they're basically like making themselves famous by creating a scenario in which people can't help but hate on them.
And good for them. You know what I mean? Really
I mean, it's something, yeah. Like, it's a way into the game.
That's kind of like, people are always like ask why I lean into the Shovel Girl stuff now. That's probably one of the reasons why. You know, I also have OnlyFans, so I lean into it. I lean into it a lot nowadays, more than I used to. I know a lot of people comment on my stuff and they're like, this Shovel Girl stuff is your whole personality. It became like this year, it really did. I feel like a lot of people have gone famous off that, just starting beef on the internet, embarrassing yourself on the internet, right?
Yeah. I mean, knowing everything I know now, the easiest way to go viral is really just to make yourself look bad.
Yeah.
It's hard to go viral making yourself look good.
Right.
Like you gotta save a fucking screaming, starving child from a burning building. You're gonna be a hero. But also, like, who cares? Like, I don't think like as much as that's like very admirable, that's probably really not going viral.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
But then,
and there's also so many OnlyFans girls. I've been selling content for a long time, and now I feel like it's getting harder and harder because there's so many OnlyFans girls, Pornhub, all this stuff. Everybody wants to start OnlyFans. You know, I have almost every girl on my Facebook wants to do OnlyFans, wants to sell this content. You have to have something different, something to go off of. Yeah. If you want to make a lot of money on OnlyFans, in my opinion, for it to be worth it, unless you just want like some side money and you feel like that's worth it to you.
Yeah, it's a shame that happened to you when you were 14, because if that happened to you now, probably you could capitalize off it a little bit more.
I know, yeah. It I feel like a lot of people think it's a lot, or like I got money off of that video, which I didn't. I didn't get money off that video, and it's not a lot. I've had some Instagram and Twitter pages that were up to like 1 million, but they have gotten hacked or taken down.
You had 1 million followers
on Twitter when it first happened. Yes, I did. It got hacked and taken down, but there was people. It was crazy. There was people that like there was like shovel dude and like so many people that were like tweeting. It was crazy. I'm telling you, it was insane.
No, that is smart. Honestly, like being out here, we could for sure get like a fake foam shovel that like
I've thought about making OnlyFans shovel content. I really have. I've thought about it. I don't know. I might.
I mean,
I might.
The question is, and I don't want to be crude, but would you be willing to do you know what with a shovel?
That is the question, isn't it? I guess, you know, like foam or like rubber or something.
Yeah, I mean,
like I'm sure there's something that I could figure out.
First thing that comes to mind is just splinters.
Right. That's
If it's
also
got
what
a
I'm
wooden
thinking. Yeah.
handle, yeah.
I don't want that. That's just a weird trip to the ER. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's real. I know a guy whose wife works at a emergency room, and she's had to deal with the same guy coming in over and over because he keeps getting a pool noodle stuck in his ass. And I actually have a picture of the pool noodle. It's
That's
really
actually hilarious.
It's actually probably the grossest thing you've ever seen in your entire life.
Have you ever seen the show Sex Sent Me to the ER?
Sex Sent Me to the ER?
Yeah.
No.
It's a crazy show. It was like a TLC show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Was that a big decision to start the OnlyFans, or was it kind of whatever at that point?
I had sold content before OnlyFans, right? Like on like Kik and Snapchat and stuff like that. So when OnlyFans came out, at first I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it, because it was getting pretty big. And I was like, I'll try it. We'll see how it goes. And I really didn't lean into the Shovel Girl stuff. I just kind of sold it like kind of like low key.
Right.
But I like doing it. I don't mind it. I actually enjoy it. So
definitely. So you still live in roughly the same area that you lived when all this stuff went down?
A little bit, yeah. I live in Miamisburg, Ohio now, so it's like a more of a suburban town.
Okay. Do you aspire to get out of Ohio, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate Ohio. It's cheap to live there though, you
Right.
know? They have some pretty good jobs, like factory jobs and stuff like that, but it's just I want to travel more. This was my first time on a plane.
Really?
Coming here to California. Yeah.
Wow.
It was really fun.
That's dope, man. It's such a shame that you like missed out on all this stuff that was happening at that time. But is there like have you reached out to like other people? I feel like there's got to be people who make content about things that have taken place on the internet over the last however many years, and that they would be interested. Or I mean, they emailed me and they were like, do you want to interview Shovel Girl? And I thought about it for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I have thought about like reaching out or trying to do something, but it's a little hard on your own. You know what I mean? I come from like Ohio, small town, and I really wasn't sure how to do it by myself or what to say.
I mean, there's a lot of interest because like, dude, I know Wavy Web Surf is the one who actually made the video about you that I believe has like over 1 million views, where he kind of breaks down all the details step by step.
Yeah, I loved that video. I had made a YouTube video and it got like 800,000 views, like kind of like reacting to the Shovel Girl video. And then like a week after that, he came out with that video.
Wow.
And that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, yay. There's a different YouTube channel, which I think they took it down, but they broke it down to like how like much tons of weight and stuff like that the shovel had hit me a long time ago. And that got a lot of views. It got me popular again. That was really cool.
Right.
I always appreciate that. I love stuff like that. And I don't even mind the hate, really. I think it's really funny.
I mean, and the main thing is that, you know, nowadays, I would be scared to post that video on Instagram because I feel like it would get taken down for violence.
Oh my gosh. So I have posted like remix of it on Instagram, just kind of like being funny. And it does, especially TikTok. TikTok
for
shadow banned the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Just because of it's so different, right? Like back then you could click on a Facebook link and like see some girl getting her head chopped off.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like super censored, which is good, but it's just different. Like the internet's way different. Like when I put it up, before I'd gotten a bunch of support, like back when I was like 14, it was like, oh girl, like you were trying to fight fair and then she hit you with a shovel, that's not fair. And like now it's like, you shouldn't have been on that girl's property. Like it's way, like before I had gotten like some death threats and some hate mail, of course, but it's a lot of people that supported me. And like now it's like all like hate, death threats. They're like, you should just kill yourself. I'm like,
wow. Yeah, the internet has definitely got a lot meaner. It feels like in this day and age, like everything becomes politicized. So I'm trying to think of like what the narrative would be about the shovel video when it comes out, because I feel like there would be people lining up on Twitter to be like, oh well, now it's white people doing it and you don't have anything to say about it, because I don't know, like everyone would try to like fit it into some like weird racial conversation or something. Yeah. I don't know. But okay, so where are you at in life now? You're just kind of trying to like rebuild and just use like whatever momentum you can from this crazy situation?
Yeah, I am in college still for a bachelor's in social work. I plan on continuing school. And then I also do OnlyFans. I know people are going to have different opinions about that, being in school, wanting to be a social worker and doing OnlyFans, but whatever.
That does sound like a viral niche right there. Just like, oh, like the Shovel Girl is an OnlyFans girl now.
Yeah, people, I mean, so much hate about it. You know what I mean? Like, of course she went to OnlyFans. You know, of course she did this. Of course she's a sellout, whatever. I don't know.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I believe that we're kind of like at the end of viral OnlyFans promotion, because I feel like everything has been done, and that anything that is going to exist after this is going to be a little bit more nuanced or a little bit harder to sort of get to. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, what I look for and like what I do OnlyFans, because I sold content before OnlyFans, is regulars. You know what I mean? I've had people that have bought content from me since the day I started, since before OnlyFans. They continue to buy content from me since today. Shout out to them. I love them all. They help me pay my bills. And that's what I look for in like doing OnlyFans and stuff like that. They will add me on Snapchat, or they'll add me somewhere else. And for years, they tend to like follow me and buy content from me, and that makes me extra money. So
that's dope for sure. Has anyone famous ever showed up in your DMs? Not really.
So. I don't. You know, I wasn't allowed on my social media after that, so I really don't know. But I don't think so.
Okay, I'm sure they're out there.
Maybe. I hate scrolling through all those
Trey Songz. Trey Songz for sure gonna slide in the DMs. Just some playboy out there. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You have a boyfriend?
No, not really. Not currently.
Okay. Wait, you're just too psycho?
Maybe. I crash out sometimes. You gotta think, I did get hit with a shovel. You know what I mean?
Give me an example of a crash out.
An example of a crash out, right? So, okay. Well, I was an addict, you know? I did come from a rough place. So sometimes I'll drink, and maybe I'll drink too much. Like I do double shots. My go-to drink, double shot of tequila, chilled, pickleback on the side. But sometimes I'll take like 10 or 20 of those, which you have to
20
think,
double shots.
You have to think that's then like 40 drinks, you know what I mean? And then
no human, especially no like 120-pound girl, should be consuming that much alcohol, right?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes
you were built for this. You was predetermined.
I don't know. Sometimes you just get into a weird headspace, and then I don't know. You just say whatever comes to your mind. You get so angry, you know.
So you still are down to drink to that kind of extent, or like, do you plan on drinking that much, or does it just become that?
Okay, I don't really got a plan on it. I'm still young. I'm 25, and I missed out a lot in my childhood. I never went to prom. I never went to school dances. I spent a lot of my time partying. So now you're thinking like, okay, well, why would you still party? Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to like do stuff like in my 20s, you know, go out, go to the bar, go dance, go have fun. I go to Build-A-Bear. Okay, I go ziplining. I go to the amusement park. I'd go take myself to do stuff that I didn't get to do as a kid because maybe I wasn't as like that fortunate or whatever.
You gonna go to Disneyland out here?
I want to.
There you go.
I want to. Shoot, that'd be awesome.
It's expensive, let me tell you.
I know, that's why I'm
taking my kid there is slowly making me go broke. Yeah. But okay, so do you feel like I don't know, like where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? Like what do you want to make out of your life?
Money.
Yeah,
isn't that what everybody wants in life?
Definitely makes everything else easier.
Yeah. Anybody who said money does not make you happy did not have enough money.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with that. I think at a certain point, money stops mattering. Like once you get to like 100 grand a year or 150 grand a year or some shit, money kind of stops making you happy. But I feel like anyone who doesn't know what it's like to like really not have money probably doesn't feel it's not fair for them to make that statement.
I feel like I've like disappointed my Nana so much, and both of her sons are dead. You know what I mean? My dad, he killed himself. My uncle, he overdosed, and then she saw me using drugs, and she was like just so depressed and upset. And I want to like make her happy, and like make her proud, which is why I went to college and I wanted her to see me graduate. But I also want to be able to take her places and do stuff with her before she dies, because she spent her whole life like taking care of my dad, taking care of my uncle, taking care of their kids because they weren't around, and she deserves to like see something like California or something like this before she dies as well. So even you know, if it's OnlyFans or whatever it is.
How's your mom? What's your relationship like now?
My mom is now just turned 3 years sober. She's on Suboxone. Nice. She lives next door to me. We both pay rent, but she's doing better. You know, she works at Waffle House. She was doing really bad. Like she was at like rock bottom. I mean, like in the hospital, had overdosed a bunch of times, tubes out of her stomach. Like she was on fentanyl. She was sleeping outside. You know, I let her sleep with me a few times, but she was like losing caps of drugs in my house everywhere, and I have animals and stuff. So it's like it was hard to live with her with the like trauma that I had in the past. And she finally got sober. Like she hit it like super. I didn't even know there was a rock bottom past rock bottom, but she hit that and then was like, I think I'm too old to live this lifestyle now.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of her. She's done really good now.
For sure, that stands out to me a lot. Like whenever I see people who are like as old as me and they're still doing serious drugs, I'm like, holy shit. Like that was no big deal to me when I was in my 20s, but now it just seems like a path to death.
And I would say she had like, you know, she was, like I said, she had her promiscuous ways, and she had probably like an $800 a day habit. Like she was using really hard.
Holy shit.
Like super, super, super hard. Like she was, but that's just to say that anybody can change. People are like, give up on addicts. People give up on people like that. And they're like, they're never going to change. And she didn't for a long time. She went back to prison. She gave up on her kids. You know what I mean? She over and over and over again, she messed up her whole entire life. But, she didn't have it easy when she was a kid either. She went through a lot of trauma. She was abused. My dad, before he died, abused her, stuff like that. And finally, after a long time, she wanted to be there for her kids. Even though I'm an adult now, she helps me a lot. And she's there for me. And when she cooks dinner, she brings it over. And I'm just happy that she's here now and she's gotten clean. And
no, for sure, that's dope. Okay, so if someone walks up to you in this day and age and calls you shovel girl, you don't mind? You just wear it?
Yeah, hell yeah, I don't care.
I respect that.
Why would I care? I mean, I think it was just something for so long, and treatment facilities, when I first went to that treatment facility, I had fought a lot over it, like wanted to fight a lot over it, you know what I mean? Was really like offended about it. I was upset. Obviously I was mad, couldn't be on the TV, couldn't do anything. I was pissed off, but I realized that it wasn't gonna end.
Yeah, so at a certain point it's just a lot easier to just kind of lean into it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's easier on your mental health, right?
Definitely, for sure. I mean, anytime you have like something that's going viral that people are giving you a hard time about, it's just way better to ease into it, just allow it to happen rather than to like fight against it, Yeah, you can't beat the internet.
No, I unhide comments on Instagram. And they'll be like, Instagram hid this for whatever reason. I'll be like, unhide. I don't even care. I don't care. I want the hate comments.
What if it was like the meanest thing ever?
I want it on there.
What if it's like, I am going to kill you?
I want it on there. I want other people to see it too. I love it. Because I know people will be in the comments and be like screenshot their picture or whatever and like be like just talking crap to them. I love it. I love watching it.
Right. I mean,
I'm here for the chaos.
Especially the way social media is now, where it's like if you do a tweet and it gets 1,000 responses, that tweet's like way more likely to go viral than if it got 50 responses.
Right.
So you kind of just gotta accept it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's funny. I laugh at the comments. I love to go through my hate comments. I think they're hilarious. People are so creative. I love to go through my message requests. Hilarious. People are so creative.
Definitely. Okay, so what do you want the people to know about in terms of what you have going on or what you'd like to direct them towards?
I have OnlyFans going on. I have Instagram going on. I want to start doing YouTube. I want to start making more content. I want to do TikTok if TikTok would unshadow ban me for violence. I posted like 2 shovel girl videos. Come on, TikTok.
I feel like that's the thing with TikTok is that you just gotta like make a lot of accounts and just keep trying.
Just keep trying. Yeah.
I mean, people told me that when I first got into TikTok, they were like, what you need to do is you need to make like 15 accounts and just post the same thing on all of them and then just use whichever one goes viral, which I was like, this is the dumbest fucking system I've ever heard of in my life. But I mean, if that's how it goes, I guess that's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can tell a lot of people do that because they just keep making more and more accounts like for their business or their brand or whatever, because one feels like a shadow ban. So like, let's make another one. It's just such a bizarre system.
That is a bizarre system. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I think TikTok has definitely changed since we had that big fight with like China or whatever, and they had that court battle. Yeah. Because before I could look up certain things on the search bar and it would just pop up a bunch of videos, and now it's like, maybe you should go to Google for this. Like. Yeah,
Instagram's like that too, though. Like I remember there was something going on with this rapper Skinny from the 9, and I kept searching his name. I kept having to go to his Instagram profile, and I would type in Skinny. And it would be like, no, like it's not popping up anything because they like want to hide eating disorder content. Yeah. And like just other things like that. Like, I was beefing with somebody whose username started with harm. It was like harm something. And I just kept writing harm and it wouldn't pop up. And I'm like, oh, right. It's like self-harm. Yeah. They were trying to protect me from that.
I think it's good, but it's bad for people that go viral like for something like me. You know what I mean? Like World Star Hip Hop or something like that. If they're trying to market off of it. Yeah. That's the only people I guess it really affects. And for like just, I don't know, freedom of information. Maybe.
I think you should get into like another viral fight. Don't fake it. You just gotta like don't fake it. You gotta get back to your true white trash past, and you should probably start doing hard drugs again.
Oh, you think so?
Just for this video.
Because you said it, I think as soon as I leave here, I'll get right onto it. It seemed like California's the place. I've seen a bunch of people out there that I know I could just walk up to them and be like, excuse me, you got something? And they're going to be like, hey, you want a tester?
You would be a big hit in Skid Row, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure
they can think of all kinds of stuff. Wow. Okay. Miranda, a.k.a. Shovel Girl, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
it's been quite a journey that you've been on. Yeah. Definitely. Shout out to everybody who watched this. And your Instagram is what? Just for
it's Miranda.Fugate.
How do you spell Fugate?
Fugate.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you for letting me on.
No doubt. This is what we do. We got to tell the internet's most important tales. Yeah. So next time Wavy Web Surf does an update, he'll be able to come back to this and we'll be able to be clipped up in there.
I hope so. I hope so. Hopefully I'm like making YouTube videos and stuff at that time too.
Yeah.
I want to do more stuff.
Maybe we could upgrade to a Justin Wang video. You know about him?
No.
Oh, he specializes in more of the gross out style content.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm always down.
He did 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Oh yeah? I remember that video when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That video was some people don't remember that.
But it kind of breaks your heart when you realize that it's not real.
It's not real? Don't tell me. Why'd you just ruin ruin my childhood?
Well, I think it should make life better to know that that's not real.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because realistically, we probably don't want that to happen too much.
I don't know. It was kind of like a staple. Everybody watched it.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted it to be real. I'm not like being weird. Not like I wanted them to do that, but.
Well, I guess we just.
It's sad to know everything was kind of fake.
We're ending the interview with realizing that you have a scat fetish.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry.
Wait, really?
I'm sorry. No.
Oh, what? Oh my God. Okay.
Oh no, not really. No.
Because me and my wife shot porn one time with a girl who ended up doing.
Oh,
shit
really?
Porn. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen your wife. She's really hot.
Thanks.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
but we shot porn with this girl, and then like a year later, I see her on Twitter, and she's eating shit. I was like
really, but not like fake, like 2 Girls, 1 Cup, but like actually doing it.
No, it looked like a real turd, yeah.
That's a big request. I've done content for a while. I'm being serious. Like playing with your own shit. That is a huge. I've never done it, but that is a huge request. You'd be surprised how many people are actually into that kind of stuff.
I actually have a guy that I'm going to interview who I don't think he comes to America, so we're probably going to have to do it like over Zoom or some shit. But that he runs a website where they post that kind of porn.
Yeah, like farting and stuff like that's super big. People like that stuff.
No, I'm talking like straight like loads of shit on his face. Like
people love it.
Full dookie mode. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shit, whatever people are into.
Yeah, that's the truth. Okay, Miranda, I appreciate you. No Jumper, coolest podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. We out.